Your home doesn't run on willpower, energy, or motivation. Those are always in really short supply for mothers. It runs on automatic systems, small habits repeated so consistently that they no longer feel like work. These aren't big transformations or aesthetic Pinterest hacks. It's not a fussy chart or endless hustle. They're the simple automatic rhythms that carry the weight of homemaking for you and make your home run like a well-oiled machine, giving you the peace and joy you thought were lost. I used to struggle so much as a homemaker, but home management has always been my strength. And so today I am unveiling the system, the system that I use for home management that makes my home basically run itself. I'm going to teach you how to create automatic habits that make your home feel like it runs itself, rooted in biblical principles, specific habits that relieve overwhelm and create space for joy, from laundry to meal planning to keeping a clean home. And the last two habits will prove that you don't have to run yourself ragged to run your home. You can build rhythms that give you joy, rest, and help you delight in your family and your home. As Christian moms, we are called to steward our homes with love, reflecting the order and peace of God. Right now, though, so many of us are carrying the weight of overwhelm, and it's robbing us of the joy that God intends for our homes. Your home is where your family's faith and love are nurtured, and these simple habits can make it a place of rest, not stress, so that you can do more of what you actually love to do while also feeling good about the home that you're keeping. So if you're new here, I'm Kiri, and I help Christian homemakers who are living in a fog of exhaustion and stress to become the patient, peaceful mother and wife they've always dreamed of being. I know some of you are really struggling though, beyond just what simple homemaking systems can solve. And if that's you and you're wondering how I went from that place of barely surviving each day to creating a peaceful, joyful home, even when my circumstances didn't change, I actually walk you through the exact process I followed in my free workshop. It's called From Survival Mode to Peace-Filled Homemaking in 7 days. You can sign up using the link below. So the first foundational habit is called habit stacking. And you may have heard of this before, but basically it's creating new habits riding on the coattails of currently established habits. So for example, if you've already been making your coffee every morning, you can stack the habit of maybe unloading the dishwasher while your coffee brews. Or if you already tuck the kids in at night, you can stack the habit of doing the 5-minute tidy right after. The anchor habit is strong. It's something that's already in place, it's already established in your life, and it's already running on autopilot. So the new habit naturally tags along and eventually will become automatic as well. This is the secret to making your home run smoothly without constant decision fatigue. You are teaching your brain to do the things that serve your family almost subconsciously until they become as natural as brushing your teeth. When you master habit stacking, your home begins to carry its own rhythm and you can add anything into your routine. You're no longer trying to remember every little thing because your habits are working together. It's like a rhythm. It's automatic. The next foundational habit is to stop keeping so many tabs open in your brain. As moms, I think so much of our overwhelm comes from trying to keep so much up here in our brain while we're trying to do all these other things. And so I rely on things called external brains. So basically, you are taking everything that you're trying to store in your brain and you're putting it into a planner or meal plans or using your computer. And so basically, this cuts out on you trying to have the stress of holding on to a bunch of information in your brain. And so I literally, in my planner, I have everything from things that I do every day, every week. I have it written down because number one, I'm a list person and I get this weird sense of satisfaction from checking things off of lists. But also because I don't want to miss anything. And I have so much going on in a day that even if it's something I do every single day, if I don't have it written down on, my planner or wherever, I will miss it. I'm not sure if you can see here, but I have a ton of writing on here and it's just everything that like things I do literally every day. Like work out, read my Bible, do laundry. I do these things every day. Do I really need it written down? Probably not because it's just so automatic to me. It's so second nature. But it's one of those automatic habits where if I have it written down, then I don't even have to think about it. I can just go to my list. Okay, what do I have done? What don't I have done? Um, and, plug and play into my day based off of that. So having everything in some sort of external brain is super important. Something else that I have for my external brain are my meal plans. So I actually sell these meal plans. They are 6-month rotating meal plans. I have a spring and summer one, fall and winter, 15-minute meals, bulk freezer prep meal plan. So all kinds of meal plans with all kinds of recipes. I'll talk about the way that I meal plan when I'm talking about a different habit. But basically, the point here is that in my meal plans, I even have my external brain. Okay. So, like, we can take this example here. So, you can see that I have like everything from how long it takes. I mean, it's a recipe, right? But how long it takes. What do I need to do the night before? Okay. This is key when it comes to meal planning is there are things that sometimes need to be done the night before with your meals, right? So, like for this recipe, it's the fresh spring rolls recipe. The night before, I need to make pickled cucumbers. That way, they can kind of marinate and um, get really delicious overnight. Okay. Sometimes it's soaking rice or making sourdough or whatever. How many servings? Okay, and then I also have an in a pinch section, which tells me all the things that I could do or that I could do if I'm in a pinch. So if I don't have a lot of time to cook. So for example, in this one, I can make spring roll in a bowl instead of wrapping them up into the spring rolls. And then I actually have that recipe in a previous week. So it says see week 3. Buy store-bought peanut sauce. So I give the ingredients to make your own peanut sauce in here, but you could just buy store-bought I can't talk, store-bought peanut sauce. Buy pre-chopped vegetables. That's not the most economical choice, but if you're in a pinch, you could always buy pre-chopped vegetables depending on the season that you're in. So anyway, the point is having everything that you usually hold in your brain, not in your brain. Something else that I use too is Trello. So I use Trello. It's an online kind of application. I use that for everything from my business to I also have a different version of my meal plan on Trello. There's just all kinds of things that I put in Trello. Even like my homemaking routine, I put into Trello and like kind of have an idea of my time blocks in the day of when I am going to be doing things. So through habit stacking, I've also simplified and made my laundry routine automatic. And I know that laundry can feel like a never ending battle unless you have a system. So here's the way that my system works now. It used to work differently before because I had a different washing machine that had a automatic timer. So I highly recommend if you have a newer washing machine, look and see if there's an automatic timer on it or like a not an automatic timer, a delay start function on it. And that could totally simplify your routine because you can just throw everything in the wash at night with some soap, set the delay start for early in the morning so that when you wake up, you can just switch it over. Makes it so easy. So that's what I used to do. But now I don't have that functionality. I actually love my washing machine. It's a Speed Queen washing machine. It is amazing, but I do it differently now because I don't have the delay start function. Um, so what I do now is I get done cleaning up dinner, okay? So my anchor habit was doing the dishes after dinner. And then the new habit that I wanted to introduce was starting a load of laundry. So right after I clean up the dishes, I start a load of laundry. And then by the time the kids are ready to go to bed and we're kind of wrapping things up for the night, the laundry's done. I switch that over to the dryer and then the clothes dry overnight, and then by the time the morning comes, the clothes are ready for my kids to take out of the, dryer and put in the basket on the coffee table, and that's my routine. Another way that I've simplified my laundry routine is I don't use laundry baskets. I have laundry baskets, but really they are just to take the laundry out and put on the coffee table until I'm ready to fold it. And then I do have one laundry hamper that I could honestly probably get rid of, and I probably will. But all that's used for is for the light load because what I do is I take all of our dark laundry. So that is including clothes for everyone in the family. It's all usually dark. And then even rags. And I throw it all in the washing machine. And I don't worry about it sitting there for too long because I do laundry every single day. And so I know that by the end of the day, I'm starting that laundry anyways. So it's not going to be like musty or anything like that because, just in a few hours, I'm going to start that and it's going to get clean. So everything goes straight into the washer all day long. So my kids are playing outside. I take the clothes off of them. I put them straight into the wash and I put the kids in the bath. My clothes, my husband's clothes, at the end of the day, we take them off. We put them in the washing machine, just straight in the washing machine. The rags after I clean up dinner, straight into the washing machine. Everything goes in there other than lights. And lights are pretty much anything that's like white or even like this beige color would all go in the same one. I put towels in there, clothes, everything. I don't worry about the fibers being similar or anything like that. I keep it super simple. Um, and I'll do a load of whites like once or twice a week. So that is another way that I've really simplified my laundry routine is I don't keep hampers of laundry. I don't let laundry collect all around the house because then that's when I feel like it does get overwhelming. All right, now speaking of laundry, I recently made a switch in my laundry detergent, which has totally simplified my life, you guys. I used to have those like big jugs of laundry detergent where I would have to pour them out and it would just get messy. I would use the pods, but then I had this like big jug of pods that I had to store. I even made my own laundry detergent for a long time and I was like, yes, I'm saving a bunch of money. But then the homemade laundry detergent clogged up our washing machine. And so we had to fix our washing machine. And so I was like, oh my word, I cannot find a laundry detergent that I like. And then I found Earth Breeze, and they're just these little, they look like kind of like a dryer sheet, but this is laundry detergent and it dissolves in the washing machine. It's amazing. And the best part is, doesn't it feel like everything these days has unnecessary chemicals? Things that are just totally not necessary to have in your laundry detergent or whatever it is that you're using. And so years ago, when I started looking into all the things around my home that had chemicals, I realized that laundry detergent was the worst offender. And so like I said, went on a hunt to find truly good laundry detergent that didn't have a bunch of unnecessary chemicals. I even tried making my own and just nothing was working. And so recently I switched to Earth Breeze and it's been such a blessing because they are so easy. And their detergents are free from harsh chemicals like optical brighteners, dyes, parabens, phosphates, preservatives. And my favorite part is that I just grab one of these little sheets and I toss it into the wash. And it's a lightweight, pre measured sheet that dissolves in the wash and gets the job done with no harsh chemical residue on our clothes. And yes, your clothes still come out feeling so clean and fresh and soft. And what most people don't realize is that most popular detergents are packed with harsh chemicals that can irritate your skin, mess up our hormones, and cause allergic reactions. Some of these chemicals, like optical brighteners, literally stick to your clothes like glue. And the craziest part, these chemicals don't even clean your clothes. They just trick your eyes into thinking that your laundry looks whiter and brighter than it really is. And you can actually see them under a black light, and it's pretty gross. So, if you want a powerful clean without the harsh chemicals, you can try Earth Breeze. It's easy to switch, and if you're not completely satisfied, they have an amazing money back guarantee. Right now, you can try Earth Breeze for up to 40% off plus 4 free gifts by going to earthbreeze.com/transformed homemaker, or you can click on the QR code that's right here and you scan that QR code and you can go there and you can get those free gifts. So that's earthbreeze.com/transformed homemaker. It's the first link in my description below. Okay, so that's my laundry routine, but how about dinner prep? So let's go into the kitchen and I will show you some of my automatic habits for dinner. Okay, so when it comes to dinner, I already mentioned that I have my 6-month meal plans. And guys, this is what I use. It makes it so easy. It's a rotating meal plan. So there's like over 50 recipes in these, and I rotate each one. And so for 6 months, I think it means that you rotate, let's see, like maybe 4 times. So you can see here, it's like weeks 1, 9, 17, and 25. Okay, so um, all the meals that are behind here will be rotated through that 4 times. And so there's enough time in between each meal that before it's repeated again, in that 6-month period to where it doesn't feel like we're eating the same things all the time. There's such a huge variety. You can actually make your own. All you do is you get just a massive list of all your favorite family recipes and you just put them in a rotational format, or you could just let me do it for you. But basically, you have the recipe here. I already mentioned everything that was on here in terms of like how you could make the recipe easier, what you need to do the night before for it. But I even have grocery lists in here. So literally all I have to do is go to the week that I'm on and copy the grocery list, put it into the Walmart app, put the groceries in, do Walmart pickup, and cook the food. So that really simplifies my dinner routine. All right. So the next routine when it comes to dinner is meat. It's always like the protein. You have to make sure that it's thawed out and that you have it all defrosted and that you have a variety of proteins so that you're not eating chicken every night or whatever. Okay. So what I do when it comes to meat is I look at all the meals that I'm going to be making for that week. And at the beginning of the week, I have a dish that I keep in my fridge, just like a casserole dish. And I go shopping in my freezer because we get a half a cow and we order all of our meat for online. And so we just stock our freezer in our garage full of meat, such a blessing. But I just go shopping in my freezer in our garage and I pull out all the meat that we're going to be using for the week. And that makes it super easy because I don't have to think about it the night before. Although, if I did, in my meal plan, it says, thaw chicken or whatever it is that I would need to thaw. So that makes it super easy. But that is my meat routine. Okay, so the next mealtime habit that I do is that while I am preparing this meal today, whatever it is, let's say I'm cooking dinner today, I am preparing for tomorrow's dinner. Okay. So anything I need to do for tomorrow's dinner or any way that I could be moving the needle on tomorrow's dinner, I'm doing that during tonight's dinner. So, like, let's say, and that's why it's so helpful to know what you're having tomorrow, because then you can just kind of batch things like micro batching, I guess I would call it. But like, let's say I have to cut up an onion tonight, but I know I need an onion tomorrow. I would just do that right then and there. Okay. So I'm always thinking about how I can move the needle on tomorrow's meal while I'm cooking that meal today. Okay. And then on the same topic, another thing that I do is while I am cooking whatever meal, let's say I'm making breakfast now, I'm thinking about what I can do to prepare for lunch today. Okay. So always be thinking about the next meal and the next meal and the next meal so that you can just always be moving the needle. This is automatic for me now at this point. I don't even have to think about it. And then by the time the next meal does come, you're thanking yourself because you've already done all these other things to prepare for that meal earlier. Okay. So mealtime is sorted out. Now, how do you keep your house tidy without feeling like a full-time maid, especially when you have a bunch of little children running around like I do? So let's go around my house and I'm going to show you how I keep my house looking tidy even when I have a lot of people in the house. Okay, so let's go. Okay, so a messy house can be so overwhelming. So the way that I mitigate that and handle that is that everything in my house has a home. So right now we're starting out, and here you can see my laundry basket. I need to fold laundry. My sweet daughter, she put that in the laundry basket today, or she put the laundry in the laundry basket today and put it on the counter or on the coffee table, which is usually my son's job. And he is now passing the torch onto my daughter, which is so sweet. Okay, so everything has a basket. So I have this cute basket. Just found it at Goodwill. All my baskets, everything like that, all comes from some kind of thrift store. So in here, I have my prayer journal. I have my Bible. I have my Bible study that I'm doing right now. I do the BSF Bible Study Fellowship study. And then I just have like highlighters, pens, Yeah, notebook in there. So this is like my morning time basket. And um, yeah, so I just keep this right under my coffee table. And yes, my kids get into it. They do. I have had some pages ripped out of things that I didn't want pages ripped out of. It just is what it is. That's life with kids. I don't stress about it because, I just like having this here. And also, it's a training opportunity for me to teach my kids that there are things in the house that aren't for you to touch. But, there's always margin for error when you have little children. So, but that's okay. All right, so I will put this back and then I'll show you some other things in my house. Over here, we have this little ottoman thing, and this is where I keep some of our toys for the kids. So if you just open it up, there's bins of all kinds of toys. So there's Magnetiles, Duclos, um, all kinds of toys in here. So that's where I keep some toys. And then over here, I keep more. Okay, so here is where I keep more toys. I keep homeschool stuff in this hutch. Obviously, you can see I keep like all of our, not all, but some of our children's books, my husband's books, everything here. But in here, we have, it's not very organized, you can see, but there are all kinds of things. So games, like children's games, um, all kinds of books. So I kind of rotate our children's books up here. Um, right now it's fall, so we have a bunch of fall books. But yeah, we have all my arts and crafts things for the kids, like paint and things like that, homeschool stuff. Um, what else? Yeah, just like things that have like a lot of little pieces, like sorting games and things like that, all go in here. All right. And then over here, I have more toys. So I have actually, you can see on the door here, I have all of our like winter and seasonal gear for the kids, and it's all organized in each corresponding like little file folder thing here for each child. So that's where I store that. But then inside here, I have more toys. So, yeah, just like crazy bins. I bring these out when I hardly ever bring those out, but if I really need to get something done, then I bring those out. All the like walkers and things like that for the little ones. And then obviously it's our coat closet. Okay, and then in here we have we're in my toddler's room. And so in here we have toys and this cute little hutch thing, which you just got this for free at like, I don't even know, maybe like a garage sale that was ending or something. So that goes in there. And then in the closet, there's more toys. So you can see more things. So like the Yodo player, what are these cars? Blocks, wooden blocks, Lincoln logs, Lego. So we've talked about tidying, but what about like deep cleaning? Now, okay, I've realized I think of deep cleaning differently than what some people like. Deep cleaning means something different for you than it may mean to me. Okay, so deep cleaning in my mind is like getting in all the nooks and crannies. So, like mopping the floors would be deep cleaning to me, but vacuuming the floors would not be deep cleaning to me. Okay. Anyway, I digress. The point is that whatever you think of when you think of deep cleaning, um, or cleaning the house, let's just say cleaning the house. Okay. Let's not say deep cleaning, but I mean like more than just tidying. Okay. Cleaning the bathrooms, cleaning the floors, cleaning the kitchen, toilets, all of that. So how do you do that? When do you do that? For me, I've made it automatic by I just do one chore a day. Now, this is one deep cleaning chore per day, okay? This isn't like dishes or laundry or whatever. Then I would do like 1,000 chores a day. But I'm talking about actually getting down, getting dirty, cleaning your house, okay? So I just do one a day. I love the idea of doing all your house cleaning in like a 2 to 3 hour chunk of time, depending on how big your house is, because I love the idea of having just like a nice, clean house that you can look forward to. But I'm just not in a season where I can do that. And so what I do is one chore a day. And I've done this for a long time. This is the only cleaning routine that has stuck for me. But again, I put it all in my planner. And, you know, Monday, I vacuum the floors. Um, Tuesday, I clean the bathrooms. Wednesday, I clean the kitchen. You get the idea. And I only do 4 main chores 4 days a week. And then the other 3 days a week, I just kind of do whatever. So if I'm like, the house looks pretty dusty, I guess I'll dust. So things like that. But again, I write it in my external brain and I just do one chore a day so that it's not this overwhelming task that I have to do every week. All right. So these tasks are all great. But what if you could stop being the doer of everything in your house? So that's what I'm going to talk about next. Okay, so the next habit is to lighten the load. So many moms feel drained because their days are filled with tasks that steal from them more than they give to them. But imagine if you could shift your focus toward the things that fill you up while still keeping your home humming along. The key here is lightening the load. So think of this as filtering your work through 4 categories. The first is share, the second is simplify, the third is to store up, and the fourth is to savor. So they're all S's, okay? The 4 S's. So share. Give age-appropriate tasks to your children. This is where you lighten your load, okay? You are delegating and you are giving age-appropriate tasks to your children so that they learn responsibility, like emptying the dishwasher or folding towels. So for example, my 4-year-old, one of his jobs, one of his chores was to unload the laundry out of the dryer and put it in a basket and put that basket on the coffee table for me to fold. And so he is now passing the torch on to my 2-year-old who is now able to do that. And so it's his job, it's his jurisdiction now to train my 2-year-old how to do that chore. Okay. But that's an age appropriate chore. She's 2, she can easily do it. And then he will have a more age-appropriate chore, okay? And so these are young children, right? But if you have older children, great, but just give age-appropriate tasks to your children so that they can learn responsibility too. So you're sharing and then you are simplifying. So you're swapping out hard tasks for easier solutions. Like maybe for groceries, you do grocery delivery or grocery pickup instead of going into the store and grocery shopping. I know that in a certain season of my life, going into the store, doing grocery shopping was like an activity for me and the kids. But now I'm in a season where I'm like, nope, that needs to change. I need to do either delivery or pickup. So make sure that you're just kind of auditing your current tasks that you do to make sure that they are the most simplified they can be in this season of your life. And that can change, okay? So simplify. Other ways you can simplify are, if dishes are an issue right now, use paper plates. I have something that I've talked about on here before, and I talk about it more in my course, but it's called the baseline protocol. And it's where you get down to the very basics of what need to be done in the house, and you simplify even those so that you just make your life so much easier during busy seasons. Okay, the next S is to store up. So spend a little extra effort now so that you can save energy later by doing things like bulk cooking or, freezing meals or making, maybe you don't have time to do like an entire bulk cooking session, but maybe you do have time to double or quadruple a recipe that you're making and freezing the leftovers for later. Okay. It's that delayed gratification, right? You are going to thank yourself later if you store up now. Or maybe you have an extra 5 minutes while you're cleaning up dinner and you can prep breakfast now for tomorrow morning to give yourself a little bit of a lighter load tomorrow. Okay, and then the last S is to savor. So you need to pour your energy into the work that brings you joy and blessing. Okay, so all the things that bring joy and blessing to your home, whatever that is, it's going to be different for everybody, but you have to savor those moments and you have to make sure that you're building in time for those things and that you are truly savoring them. Okay, so for example, maybe baking bread is something that you love to do and you just think that it blesses your home and it makes everybody so happy to smell the freshly baked bread. And, maybe that is something that you want to pour into and that you want to savor and you want to make a priority. Okay, so that's one of the things that you're going to prioritize. Cultivating family traditions. So, whatever it is, maybe you do something special every Friday and it really just blesses your family. Okay, so putting your energy into thinking about things and how you can pour into your home, or just creating a cozy atmosphere. Maybe you love interior design or making your home cozy, or who knows? Whatever it is, baking cookies, who knows? Make sure that you keep those tasks and that you don't obviously delegate them, but that you also are giving yourself time to focus on savoring the tasks that you love and that bring joy and blessing to your home. When you practice this, you stop pouring all your strength into chores that drain you and you begin investing that time into homemaking that brings you peace. I can already hear the questions though. How do you get young children to help you lighten the load? Okay, so that's where the next habit comes in, and that's family participation and training your children in micro habits. So if you want a house that runs itself, you have to train the crew to run it with you. My children have tiny age-appropriate tasks, like I mentioned before, that I had to intentionally train them on through consistent repetition. After a while, they became automatic even for them. So things like put your shoes away in their spot or putting toys away where they go. Those are things that I know can be such huge triggers or stumbling blocks for mothers and children, but they don't have to be with consistent practice, training, and repetition. Then when they're a little bit older, you can teach them how to dress themselves when they wake up and make their beds. And then it just keeps going and going. You keep stacking age-appropriate habits on top of each other using habit stacking to the point where now my 4-year-old wakes up, gets dressed, makes his bed, and fills him and his sister's water bottles and takes the laundry out of the dryer, and then he sits down for breakfast. You get the idea, okay? It took a lot of training to get to this point and a lot of patience and a lot of repetition. But again, going back to the previous point where I was storing up, okay? I was spending a little extra effort so that now that these habits are in place for my children, it makes my life so much easier. I don't have to do all those things. When you wake up in the morning and you have a bunch of little ones running around and you need to get all of them dressed and someone needs to go potty, so you have to take that one potty, and then this one really needs water, but he can't fill up his own water bottle, so you have to get him water, and it just is chaos. But if you store up and if you take the time to train and practice this repetition and training your children in these little micro habits, it will become just part of your rhythm, your family rhythm, your morning routine, and it will be such a blessing for you. Also, what is that saying that's actually, I don't know if this is a Bible verse or what. I should probably know, but I'm just thinking of this off the cuff. But it's idle hands are the devil's work, right? So I have found that if my children don't have something to do with their hands, like they're not working on something, building something, doing a chore, doing whatever, they're causing problems. It just is what it is. They're fighting, they're grumbling, they're being needy and like needing me to entertain them. So if you can just keep them busy, then that's, not going to happen because they're busy doing their chores. And then, of course, from there, you have to train them on mindset and, teaching them to, not grumble about their chores and things like that. So, of course, that comes too. But you have to just start by empowering them to make them feel like they can do things, like they can do hard things. I say that all the time to my kids. You were made to do hard things. You can do hard things. And so anyway, it really does become a blessing once you start teaching them how to do hard things. So start with one micro habit per child. Give lots of praise every time they have even a little win. I remember when I was first teaching my son, I think I started this when he was like 2. And when I was first teaching him how to do these, like any win, I was like, oh, yes. And he's not the type of child that's super independent. And so he, like my daughter, she's super independent. Everything is no, me, no, me, no, my turn, no, my turn. That was not my son. He was like, no, you do it. And so any time he did something on his own, I just went crazy with praise. So anyway, give lots of praise and make the routines consistent every day. That's a key. It has to be every day, even on the weekends. So we used to slack off on the weekends when my husband was home and just kind of chill in the mornings. That created issues during the week to where it would take a couple days in the week to get back into a rhythm. And I was like, no, we have to keep this routine even through the weekend. So keep it consistent every day and then build on those habits once they've mastered the previous ones. All right. The next habit is to create margin with Sabbath rest. So the system needs time to breathe. And it needs time to reset and relax. And you need time to think about what's working and what's not. Okay. You aren't a robot who can just keep going at the same pace nonstop. And you need margin for life and to think about the system and how it needs to be reworked and pivoted. So in order to have that kind of clarity, you need to rest. Personally, each week I take a day where I don't do any heavy lifting around the house and I just do things that bring me and my family joy and rest. But I take the gift of Sabbath rest even further, and every month I take a whole rest week. I've talked about this before, but when I take that rest week, I return to work and home management just feeling refreshed, not ragged and not run ragged. So how might you do this? You can maybe block at least one day a week and or 1 week a month and set that apart as a week or a day of rest and reset. Don't do any heavy projects, just do small catch-up things or things that bring you joy. Personally, I love planning and organizing, and I just like taking a big picture look at schedules and life and I don't know, just thinking about goals and things like that. I love that type of thing. And so this is when I would do that sort of thing. And so make it a Sabbath rest for your whole family as well. So do slow meals or a long date with your husband. This is the kind of margin that will keep this system sustainable for you. This is the exact system that I still use to create a peaceful, joyful home, even in the chaos of raising little ones. So if you feel like you are stuck in survival mode, it's not too late. You can feel calm and present and in control again. And I walk through it all inside my free workshop. So the link is in the description below. And don't forget to check out that Earth Breeze promotion happening right now. I think you guys are really going to love this laundry detergent. It feels weird even calling it laundry detergent because it's like, sheets. They look like dryer sheets, but anyway, I think you're going to love them. But if you would like to learn more about how to stay consistent even when you don't feel like it, watch this next video on my daily home management disciplines.